Hi guys, my name is Nonima Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So I want us to talk about uJudge Rat. Hayi, uyabona namhlanje. Hey, hayi inene. Whoa, sana. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we need to have a very serious conversation about what happened in the Senzumiwa trial because sana. Because what unfolded in that courtroom has left many observers scratching their heads and asking one fundamental question. What exactly is Qiniselani Buthelezi supposed to need a lawyer for? Let's think about this carefully. Qiniselani Buthelezi is not an accused person in the Senzumeyiwa trial. He's not on trial for murder of Senzumeyiwa. He's not facing charges before Judge Ratamu Khwahleng in this matter. He was called as a witness. He came from prison to testify. He took the oath. He answered questions. He gave evidence. And then suddenly, after maintaining that there are portions of a statement that he knows nothing about, the courtroom shifts dramatically. Now, the focus is no longer on whether the state can prove the statement, because that was the bone of contention on Friday. That was the bone of contention on Friday, if you didn't know. That's where we were. Now, the focus becomes whether Qiniselani should obtain legal advice. That is whether the alarm bells start. That is where the alarm bells start ringing. Because the first question any reasonable person should ask is, what problem are we trying to solve here? If Qiniselani said, I refuse to answer any questions, that would be one thing. If Qiniselani said, I will not cooperate with the court, that will be another thing. But that is not what happened here. What happened, what he appears to be saying is something completely different. He is saying, I will answer questions about what I know. I will not answer questions about what I told I will answer questions about what I told the police, but I cannot answer questions about words that are not mine. That is completely different legal situation. And that distinction is crucial because if a witness disputes part of a statement, the legal burden shifts back to the party relying on that statement. That the state cannot simply wave a document in the air and say, there it is. The state must prove it. Who took it? When was it taken? How was it taken? Was it interpreted? Was it read back? Was it voluntarily adopted? Did the witness confirm every page? Those are the questions that normally need answers. Yet suddenly the spotlight appears to be moving away from the statement and onto the witness himself. And that is why people are concerned now, because what is happening? We were all here, we were listening, we heard what Qiniselani said. Because from the outside, it creates the impression that the person under the pressure is no longer the party trying to prove the statement. The person under pressure becomes the witness disputing it. That is a dangerous perception. Now, let's talk about the lawyer issue briefly. Qiniselani is an inmate. Ne? He is serving a life sentence. He is not a wealthy businessman. He is not sitting at home with unlimited resources. He cannot simply walk into a law firm tomorrow morning. There is a public holiday also tomorrow. There are logistical challenges also. There are consultations that will need to be arranged. So when the court says, come back and tell me whether you have obtained legal advice, one naturally asks one question. How exactly is he supposed to achieve that in practice? Who is facilitating it? Who is paying for it? Who is arranging it? And what legal risk has been identified that makes such advice necessary? Those are not small questions. These are huge questions, guys, that need answers. Now, let me be very careful. I am not saying Judge Rata is colluding with the state. That's not what I said, okay? Don't put words on my mouth. If he is, that's on him, all right? There is no evidence before us proving that like the claims of But what we see, his behavior is screaming very loudly, saying, "You are biased, my lord." That's what we are seeing. Okay? Now, but what I'm saying is this: the optics are terrible because the timing is raising eyebrows. The state has encountered a serious obstacle. The witness is rejecting portions of a statement. The defense is challenging the reliability of that statement. And then proceedings pause while attention shifts to the witness. That sequence naturally invites scrutiny. So that is why we are scrutinizing them. They are asking us to scrutinize the judge's behavior, the state's behavior. Okay, the state is not doing anything now. They just failed to prove a statement. Why is Judge Ratta chief of everything now? Judge Ratta has become the chief lawyer. He's the senior counsel of the state now. He's the one that is a chief operating prosecutor in that courtroom. He's the chief justice, chief operating prosecutor, chief defense lawyer for the prosecutors. That's what he is doing in that courtroom, in case you are not understanding it. Now, and the biggest question of all is this: if the statement cannot presently be proved through the witness himself, what exactly is the next move? Because the courts are supposed to resolve evidential disputes through evidence, not through pressure, not through confusion, not through uncertainty, not through threatening witnesses with sentencing them. True evidence. That is the cornerstone of the justice system. The Constitution demands fairness. The Criminal Procedure Act demands fairness. Natural justice demands fairness. And fairness means that nobody should be expected to conform something they genuinely say is not theirs. In fact, if a witness truly believes something is false and confirms it anyway, that would be far more problematic. So the irony here is astonishing. The very thing that appears to be creating tension in that courtroom may actually be the witness trying to remain faithful to his oath, because an oath requires truth, not convenience, not cooperation with the narrative. Truth, nothing else but truth. And that is why this development could become one of the most significant moments of the defense case, not because of what Qaniselani said, but because of the questions his position raises about the statement itself. The real battle is no longer about Qaniselani, by the way. The real battle is about credibility. The real battle is about proof. The real battle is about whether the state can establish that the disputed words are genuinely his. And until that question is answered, the controversy surrounding this courtroom drama is only going to grow. This is not just a witness problem anymore. This has become a credibility problem. And credibility is where cases are won and lost. So Judge Ratta knows exactly what he is doing. He knows what he is doing. He is intentional with what he is doing. He is doing that because he is preventing the problem that he is foreseeing. He sees what I heard. He knows exactly what Gininda and Tim are faced up with. Now, the question is, how is Qaniselani going to get a lawyer if after court today he went back to prison? Where is he going to consult a lawyer? Where is he going to get a lawyer? How is he going to get a lawyer? Wasn't it supposed to be Judge Ratta that is giving guidance on that part? Wasn't it supposed to be Judge Ratta that was supposed to guide him and tell him, you are going to do A, B, C, D, and like this, go get the lawyer, like this, and then wait for the day and say, call legal aid, let's find out, and hear from legal aid, is Qaniselani going to get assistance? Ask Qaniselani questions. He did not even do that. He did not even allow Qaniselani to speak. He did not care what Qaniselani had to say. He did not care what the defense had to say. He did not want to hear focal from anyone. And then he is going to come back on Friday and say, what were we talking about on Monday? Very possible. It has happened before. Oh, it's very possible, guys. It had happened before, I promise you. So, Ujudge Ratamufakeng, guys, will shock you. And it has nothing to do with old age, Gesan. Ungaklingu mistaken. It has nothing to do with old age. It has to do with him being arrogant. That's it. He's an arrogant judge. Did you hear him saying if that judge in Emadadeni is a junior, legally that it's the law, it's not him. That is how he behaves. Anyway, what are your thoughts when it comes to all of this? Let's talk in the comment section. I'll see you on our next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.